So, Marvel revealed the cast for Avengers Doomsday. And, well, it's quite the list, and it can give you some clues about what may or may not happen. But everyone's figured it out. It's multiverse shenanigans continuing on, established by the Spider-Man film, which did it pretty well, then followed by the Doctor Strange film, which did very little with it, surprisingly enough, since multiverse was in the title of the movie. It wasn't until, like, Loki and more or less, well, both seasons, did establish quite a bit about the multiverse and what have you, and timelines and that sort of thing. But despite it being the most popular show of the Marvel DP shows, I don't think enough really saw it to get the whole run of the story. And it's just as well because it was setting the groundwork for Kang the Conqueror to be the big bad. But then Jonathan Majors had his scandal and whoops, And meanwhile, all the movies, or most of them anyway, were terrible, just awful. You've got Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which did well. And then you had to wait all the way until Deadpool Wolverine, which did add more to multiverse shenanigans because Deadpool and, of course, Wolverine himself were Fox properties, and so they did a little narrative out of that. And there you go. So, everybody knew there was going to be yet another come-together moment, but the other films and whatnot really didn't add a lot to it. So, here at Cosmic Book News, we've got a list of the characters in the proper lineups that they belong in. So for the Avengers, we got Chris Hemsworth coming back as Thor. Not that big of a surprise. He did mention he was interested in another go at Thor, perhaps a Thor 4. Whether that'll happen or not, and perhaps, but he wanted it to be a more serious film and probably prefer another director. Yeah. But anyway, he'll be there. Anthony Mackie as Captain Falcon America. Because, he's all they got, Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, sure, why not? I like the Ant-Man films, the first two. It's too bad what happened with Quantumania. But that, too, was supposed to set the stage. And, Letitia Wright, female Black Panther. And then Namor, Tenoch Huerta Meja, I believe. I got it wrong. I'm sorry. But he'll be back as Namor. I guess they'll get along now after their little misunderstanding from the, the Wakanda movie. Simu Liu, Shang-Chi will show up. And, his end credit scene seemed to, Wong showed up and I forget, but still, not really enough groundwork laid for this. But again, they were laying groundwork for something else that's never going to happen now. So anyway, Danny Ramirez, the other Falcon, he'll be in it. Winston Duke M'Baku from, Black Panther. And then Tim Hiddleston, Loki. Now, he became more of a heroic figure in his DP series, but he's also not their Loki. He's an alternate timeline Loki. So there is that. And at the end of season 2, he pretty much became the god of time, which I think makes him a possible candidate for their version of the Beyonder. It could be that. And Dr. Doom has got to manipulate him somehow to get his power. Something like that, perhaps. I don't know. But anyway, no surprise to me, because he was making noises about, we've finally seen the final story of Loki or whatever. And I was like, yeah, come on. It really, especially knowing already about where they were going before the whole Kang thing fell apart, that was a setup for that. So whatever they're going to do with multiverse shenanigans, got to have Loki in it. So it makes a lot of sense that he'll be there. It's just, I don't know if this is just McCloyne putting this list or if that's how they presented it. Because I didn't watch the video. 5 hours just to see chairs and then Robert Downey Jr. at the end. So anyway, but they're all apart for not technically they're not all apart of the same universe, because Loki is an alternate timeline Loki. The real Loki that they knew died at the hands of Thanos. So, I don't know. But now that he's become more or less a good guy, I suppose he could be on their side. But what? I guess I'll have to wait and see it to find out. So anyway, X-Men. So these are, the original X-Men from the old Fox days. So you got Kelsey Grammer, who's already made an appearance as Beast. Well, I'm sure it was mostly CGI, but it was his voice at the end of the Marvels. Remember that? Yeah, I know. I'm probably one of the few people who saw it. So, yeah. But that's what they did. Yeah. So he'll be around. Patrick Stewart shows up again as Charles Xavier. But how can that be? He played Charles Xavier in the Doctor Strange movie, and he died. Well, that's another alternate timeline Charles Xavier. So this one will be the one we all knew from those Fox movies. Still around and hanging out with who? Why, Magneto, with Ian McKellen returning into the role. And of course, as you know, in Days of Future Past, they kind of matured and got over their differences and they were all good. So I guess it'll be like that. Alan Cumming is Nightcrawler. And look who's coming back. Rebecca Romijn as Mystique after all these years still. Paint her blue again. James Marsden is Cyclops, and hopefully he gets, it's a big cast, so odds are, but Cyclops got a raw deal in those movies especially at the Last Stand, which I didn't hate as much as others, but just killing him off like that at the beginning, I'm like, So hopefully, he'll get a good scene, probably. The best you can hope for would be one, Channing Tatum, of course, returns as Gambit. There was supposed to have been a Gambit movie. It was in, production hell for quite a while and then just died. And so he was brought in for the Deadpool film, that was the joke, But now I guess he's Gambit for the foreseeable future, for the moment anyway. And he'll be a part of the team when their universe is brought into this, multiverse madness stuff. So, of course, the Fantastic Four, which we haven't met yet, but we will before Doomsday. So, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Baccarat, Joseph Quinn, and, of course, Pedro Pascal. And one would expect some intense scenes between Pedro and Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom, because, in the comics, Reed Richards and Dr. Doom, they went to college together, And then Dr. Doom was jealous of him, got mad, and ended up burning his face off. Stuff like that. Well, anyway, we'll see how that goes. Also, Sue Storm meeting Tinox Hireta Namor, because they kind of had an affair in the comics. We'll see how that goes. Thunderbolts, another team you haven't met yet, but you will before you get it, Doomsday. Of course, Sebastian Stan, Winter Soldier, which I take it to mean he survives Thunderbolts. Wyatt Russell, U.S. Agent, I take it he survives Thunderbolts. Florence Pugh, Elena, the new Black Widow, I take it she survives Thunderbolts. Lewis Pullman, the Sentry, apparently also survives the Thunderbolts. But given the power level of the Sentry, he too could be a possible candidate for the Beyonder. Or maybe he'd end up in a situation like Miracle Man, how he was, and he ended up getting manipulated by Dr. Doom and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see. So, he survived. David Harbour, Red Guardian, survived Thunderbolts. Unless some of these are alternate reality versions, but I could have thought they were going to have a tear-jerking scene of him dying in the arms of his daughter and all that, but maybe not. Hannah John Kamen, Ghost, from the Ant-Man movie, and she's going to survive Thunderbolts as well, it appears. Though one member is missing, so she probably won't make it. Yeah. And she's also probably the traitor of the team, because she's a villain. So, yeah. Anyway, it all leads to Doom, Robert Downey Jr. So that was the whole point of the chairs and stuff. So And the announcement of now it's in production. So they got to start, doing movie stuff. So, wow, but the problem is, where's everybody else? Well, the Eternals, well, it is odd because in the Captain America Brave New World, the Celestial stuck in the ocean became a major plot point for the film, except that it's an entity that probably most of the viewers had no idea what that is and how it came to be and all that, because the Eternals flopped majorly, and it deserved to. It was a bad film, and they just dumped it out there and then had to quickly forget about it. But then they made it essential part with that. It's a giant dude sticking out of the ocean in Captain America. It's like, oh, okay. That being said, I will give Brave New World, it was a better film than Eternals, as bad as it was. But, yeah, it was. The Guardians of the Galaxy, no. But Secret Wars, yeah, they're going to show up in that. That's the thing about anybody not showing up. Will Chris Evans show up for Secret Wars? Odds are yes. Hulk, I would think so. Maybe Hulk. I mean, I guess Renner's doing all right now. He had that bad accident, but he'll probably show up. I don't know about ScarJo. I mean, sure, with multiverse shenanigans but they could hire another actress in that aspect if they wanted to. But yeah, that's a bit iffy. But of course, we already know Chris is on board. So only Thor is a part of the original Avengers has officially been announced to be returning in Avengers Doomsday. Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow is dead. Rumors have said Chris Evans and Haley Atwell will return. Yeah. The announcement also made no mention of Mark Ruffalo's Hulk or Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye. It's interesting because that's the thing about Captain America. It was a Hulk movie, but no Hulk. Brie Larson. I don't know. But maybe she'll get a cameo for Secret Wars, and that's probably about it. Vision's supposed to get his own DP show, so there's that. Anthony Mackie seemingly confirmed Tom Holland, but the announcement didn't mention Spider-Man. So maybe Peter Parker shows up for a bit, but there's going to be a Spider-Man 4, and it might take place in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So that might be how they'll do that. Benedict Cumberbatch has also confirmed and denied he is in the movies multiple times. Odds are he might have an in-credit scene or something of that nature. With the multiverse stuff, he'd be one of the essential characters to have. But Secret Wars, most definitely. I think he'll be in that. Nick Fury, I don't know, but he'll probably show up. It's a lot of people, so cameos galore and all that. So yeah, Taskmaster is probably dead at the end of Thunderbolts. She-Hulk, well, She-Who? Yeah. And Tatiana Maslany, she's busy with Kurtzman's Star Trek thing. Oh, God. Yeah, well, yeah. So anyway, what about these two guys? Well, definitely Secret Wars. Yeah, and probably a surprise cameo at the end type thing. But yeah, that's what they're holding there. So there you go. And here's the long list of people not showing up. So, well, Elizabeth Olsen pretty much said she's done and wasn't happy with the Doctor Strange movie. And I certainly understand why. But more than likely not happening. Monica Rambeau, Teyonah Parris, because how it ended in Marvels, but then again, I'm probably one of the few who saw it, but it had a big little scene leading into multiverse and whatnot. She'll probably show up for Secret Wars, So that's the deal with a lot of these people. As far as the characters who played Eternals, I really doubt it. And then Blade, a movie that's been in production hell forever. Is that going to happen? Is he going to show up in any of this? I don't know. But basically, my guess is Fantastic Four will survive it. A new X-Men will be introduced through some of this. And they'll go forward from there. And a lot of these characters will be finally totally retired and then recast for the new MCU that will come out of Secret Wars. So a lot of it's just pretty obvious. It's just, I don't know. The only question is which chair gets shuffled with which, and hope it all pays off in the long run. That seems to be the plan.